Okay, it's a bit later in the day. It's Nick back again one more time, back on the camera again. And thank you for continuing to watch this little series as to what to do when you've got people who are treating you badly in a certain way, possibly using cult techniques, or possibly using, or in the case of the private messages that were sent to me, alright, people using the New World Order mythology and certain other forms of religious or theological bullying to influence someone in a negative manner. Okay? And what I want to do now is to talk about the importance of the break of the friendship, destroying the friendship entirely between yourself and this individual, and just to give you a few pointers to think about how you can go about the process, but also primarily the importance. Now, I'm very much an individual who believes strongly that everyone in the world deserves some kind of second chance, okay? But I think from yourself as an individual, you also got to look after yourself, and you've got to work out whether you can let that person into your life at that time, and whether they've actually got better from the problem, which has been not only holding them back, but also messing with you and messing with you directly, because they're, they've been holding a certain quality of interaction with you in a certain way, which is making you feel uncomfortable. All right, because of what they're doing or what they're saying. Now, this, as I say, it could be any type. It could even be like Marxist feminism. It could be ufology. It could be anything. But typically speaking, there's this one particular thing which you have to separate and you have to get rid of, because the person who is going to be giving you this ideological, political form of bullying has a toy, so to speak, okay? Like a kid has his favorite toy, or a baby has his favorite chew toy, or whatever it is. Dogs have chew toys. I don't know what babies have, or sucky blanket, or whatever it is that they've got, okay? And if you take that thing away from the kid, then the kid will go into a really, really bad state and will try and bring you into emotional involvement with them to manipulate you, basically, won't they? With crying, with wailing, or whatever. Okay. Well, what's this cult leader? Because this person's using cult techniques on you, cult leader techniques, which I personally regard as being totally evil. Okay. Personally speaking, on the basis of personal experience, totally evil. Okay. They also have their little toy, but their toy is not you. Their toy is the power play between them and you, and the fact that they are using whatever techniques they can to influence you in a negative way. Okay, and to try and hold that position of power on top of you. So they're not allowing you to hold a conversation with them. They won't listen to another point of view. They're in this black and white position of thinking that they are right. All right, that they are right, and anyone who's even slightly not like them is spawn of Satan, or dealing with demons, or being possessed by demons, or has a demonic curse upon their life, or is listening to the Illuminati's whatever, and is therefore part of like a global fascist empire and all this weird stuff. All right, you're part of the New World Order. It's all, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But it's all cult techniques. It's all totally evil mind control stuff. Okay, you got to see this. All right. So remember that the toy that they've got, that this person who's got this childlike mentality has got, is not you. All right, because if they get someone else who they can treat as their little mentee, they're the mentor, the other person's the mentee, then this sick, twisted fuck, who is the individual who is giving you this stuff, will be satisfied. Now, these type of person, they often haven't been in situations whereby they can develop good quality social skills. They've often been in situations whereby the vast majority of their personal experiences and education has only been through an individual taking that particular role with them. So somewhere inside their mind, they think that that is the right way. But your job is to be able to demonstrate to them through the break of the friendship that their behavior towards you is not acceptable in society. It is not socially acceptable. It is not appropriate behavior. All right? And therefore, as you break the friendship with this person, in extreme ways if you have to, you're actually doing a very loving thing. Alright, yeah, sure, once they've finally grown and got over their issues, then maybe you can invite them back into your life. But at the moment, you're putting the drawbridge right up, you're getting your archers at the arrow slits, you are going to have to defend yourself. Alright? And you create, you put the wall up, and you don't let anyone or anything pass. This is like really, really compulsory. But understanding that dynamic, that power dynamic that they have with you, is really, really, really important. Because they are sickness, because they can only conceive of a connection with anybody in this mentor-mentee situation. Alright? Break it. Demonstrate and show that you are independent. Now, you are permitted, the way I see it, to use really strong language when dealing with these people and pointing out to them how inappropriate this, this attitude is that they've got. Soda water and lemon, fantastic. Right, so do use strong language, do swear, do scream, do shout. Alright? And also don't deny them. Tell them when a conversation is over. Don't ask them. Don't just use words such as, I'm sorry, but I thought that was rather impolite, or I felt hurt because you spoke to me that way. You can do that with someone you've got a genuine friendship with. Not with someone who's in this mentor-mentee situation, in which case, shout at them, okay? Shout at them at the top of your voice, saying, this conversation is over forever! Right? Really, really belt it at them. Let them know where they stand. You become the authority. Because humans are just animals. And you need to use your voice, your physical stance, okay, your facial expression, even, looking at them with hatred if you have to, in order to make sure that they understand deep on a subconscious level that you see them in a very low position on the hierarchy. And it's not you who's at the bottom of the hierarchy looking up to, oh great master, but you're looking down on them. Okay, this is important. It's an important step in you gaining your freedom, gaining your independence. I think I've got another call coming in. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back again. I like being busy. Sometimes I can be a bit too busy, but that's a good thing too. Never mind. Okay, now, what was I saying? Okay, now change the dynamic between yourself and this individual. Take that toy away from him or her or it or they, okay? Take that toy. Remember, the toy is not you. The toy is that power and status situation going on between the two of you. There was a film, a kid's film, maybe you saw it, many, many, many years ago. I think it was in the 80s, early 80s, called The Labyrinth. And I think it even had David Bowie in it playing the, was it the evil elf lord or something like that. And the main story was about this little girl who realizes that life is basically intrinsically unfair. That's the way it is, and you've got to accept that and adjust to it. And in one particular scene, there was this symbolic statement which she makes to the Elven King, the evil Elven King, who's having this power and control situation over her. And she says, you have no power over me. Okay? Symbolic of breaking that connection, right? Symbolic of breaking that power dynamic. This is what I'm trying to help you to understand, or at least to think about how to do it. You've got to do it in different ways, in different situations. You are morally permitted to raise your voice. If you're a quiet, meek, mild, decent, nice, sensitive individual, sometimes maybe you need to stop being like that, okay? Sometimes you need to fight back, in some respects, in a manner which is more to do with being assertive rather than aggressive, okay? You can stop someone from messing with you just through using the right body language, the right volume, not screaming, but projecting with volume and power. Because people can understand that. Because we are animals, we react in an animal way when we hear, as it were, animal sounds coming from another individual. So get that level of authority back. Demonstrate that the dynamic has changed. And yes, you may have to keep away from this individual, but not because, hey, that means they've won. Okay? It's not, hey, that means they've won. It's, hey, you don't need them in your life whilst they are sick. They are sick, they are inappropriate, they're using the wrong social dynamic to deal with you. Alright? And you need to break away from that. And you can give people a second chance if you want, but don't lower that drawbridge and let them into your heart and into your mind again until they've got better. Alright, and if they don't do that, then obviously they can go on a scrap heap. They just get rid of them. They are scum. You know, they are scum. If they don't work on their problems, because some people, like, they revere or they worship their own problems. And with that individual that I've been reading about in these private messages, alright, that individual is revering and worshipping, alright, this power dynamic, which he or she or it or they is very, very attached to, and is not prepared to see things from a different point of view because of sickness. Alright? Now, when someone sees, I mean, I've spoken to you about identity before in lots of different videos, okay? When an individual sees a dynamic like that as being something to do with their identity, alright, and they revere it and they worship it and they hold on to it, okay, that is sickness, because they're encouraging this sickness inside them. Alright, they're not fighting against it. They're not saying, well, what if I'm wrong? What if there's another way of looking at the same problem? They're not doing it. Alright, and they are harming people because of it. This is a form of evil, okay, a form of extreme sickness. Not necessarily because of vindictiveness. It's one person getting pleasure from harming another, though, as a result of mental problems. Alright? And from your point of view, you need to change the priorities of the way in which you see these situations. There is a whole hierarchy of love. Okay, you're at the top. Then there's your family. Then there's your friends. Then there's other people. And if someone treats you in the way in which this individual or individuals or they or whoever it is does, then they become other people. And you have rights to see them with contempt. Alright, yes, you can swear if you want, you can shout at them, you can make an example of them, you can sometimes even shout at somebody within earshot of somebody else to humiliate the person that you're shouting at, because they will know, alright, this other person who's listening in will know that there's something wrong with the person that you're shouting at. And that's another way of adding an extra bit of psychology to the dynamic, alright, an extra bit of politics to the dynamic. Alright, you're at the top of the hierarchy of love, okay, self-love, because you can't help other people unless you can help yourself first. And if you can't feed yourself, clothe yourself, have shelter and all the rest of that, how the hell are you supposed to be able to help somebody else? How? Tell me. How? Okay, you can't. Alright, you want to be able to give to charity? You want to give £5 to charity? Great, well, what if you don't have £5? So you've got to work to earn the money to be able to give £5 to charity. So you've got to be stable in your person so you can then do something altruistic. Okay, that's essential. You've got to be stable in your person. If someone's holding a power play thing over you, they've taken your independence and self-love away from you. And if you don't choose to do something about this, alright, you have chosen to become drained. You've got a psychic vampire taking away your energy. You are choosing to put yourself into an unpleasant situation, and you need to choose to move out of it. And yeah, the friendship's over. You are free. But if they start treating you just like a baby wanting their toy back, alright, well, why this? I want to talk to you about this. Alright? Then just be even more bloody and aggressive and all the rest of that. Because they'll have stepped across the mark too far, call the police, get a restraining order, anything that you see fit. Demonstrates to them that the friendship is over and is over for good. And then they can maybe, if you're lucky and if their problems up here are not too severe, maybe, just maybe, they will be able to grow beyond it. And you would have given them the greatest gift of love in the world. The greatest, most altruistic gift in the world. And that is to help them to stop being a shit. Now, I don't know if what I've said has helped you. Maybe it's helped somebody, but not everybody. But it's definitely been there for those people who've needed to hear it. Alright? You're the most important person in your life, not the person who makes themselves more important than yourself in your life. Yeah. Speak to you soon.